Reality has a way of reasserting itself, not through grand gestures, not through the dramatic, orchestrated quality of a moment that was designed to produce a particular effect. Through the small, ordinary, completely unplanned quality of something that simply happens, that arrives in the middle of an ordinary day without announcing its significance in advance, that produces, in the moment of its arrival, the specific quality of recognition that only something true can produce. You know, that quality, the moment when something unexpected strips away whatever arrangement has been in place and leaves only what was there before the arrangement, before the distance or the silence or whatever form the separation took, before the specific constructed quality of how two people navigate not being what they were to each other, reality underneath the arrangement, still there. I want to begin with what unexpected means in this context, because unexpected is the specific word that carries the most weight in what I want to explore with you today. Unexpected does not mean random. The things that remind us of what is real in a connection are not random events that happen to arrive and happen to produce that effect. They tend to be the specific category of experience that bypasses whatever the constructed surface of the current situation is, that does not interact with the management of the situation, that arrives at a level below the management and produces its effect there, where the management has no jurisdiction. A song, a place, a conversation about something entirely unrelated that produces in the middle of it the specific awareness of a specific person, something someone says that they would have said, the way light falls in a room you were both in, any of the countless unplannable, entirely ordinary things that carry the specific frequency of a genuine connection. These things do not care about arrangements. They simply arrive. And in the arriving, they remind. Let me describe what it is they remind of, because the reminder has a content and the content deserves its honest description. It reminds of the specific quality of what was real, not the idealized, retrospectively smoothed version of a connection that nostalgia tends to produce. The actual version with its specific texture, the particular humor, the particular way of being understood, the particular quality of ease that existed in the presence of someone who knew you without requiring you to explain yourself. That ease is not generic. It is not a quality that exists in all connections and that can therefore be found again readily in the next one. It is the specific product of two particular people having developed a particular familiarity over a particular time. It has the specific character of something built rather than found, something that required investment and time and the gradual accumulated quality of two people learning the shape of each other. That shape, once learned, is not easily unlearned. And the unexpected things that arrive and remind of the shape. I want to speak to what recognition feels like when it arrives this way, because recognition is the specific interior experience that these unexpected moments produce, and it deserves description. It does not arrive as a thought. It arrives as something more prior than thought, before the analytical mind has had time to weigh in on what it means, or what to do with it, or whether engaging with it is wise. In the specific, below the thinking quality of something that the body registers before the mind has organized a position on it. a quality of presence, of someone who is not in the room being suddenly, briefly, unmistakably present in the room, not as a memory that is being recalled, as something that is simply there in the specific quality of what the moment contains, present in the way that significant things are present, even when their physical form is not. That presence is information, not about what to do, about what is real. That presence is information, not about what to do, about what is real. I want to give that one more specific dimension because the information that these unexpected moments carry tends to be more precise than what deliberate reflection produces. Deliberate reflection is shaped by what we want to be true as much as by what is true, by the specific motivated quality of someone who is trying to arrive at a conclusion that is livable. That does not require too much of them. That allows them to continue navigating their life without the disruption that full honesty about certain things would produce. The unexpected moment bypasses that motivation. It does not ask what is livable. It simply shows what is real. And what is real, when it arrives in the full, unmediated, below the management quality of these moments, tends to be more accurate than what we arrive at through the careful, considered, what do I tell myself about this quality of deliberate reflection? This is why these moments matter, not as emotional disruptions to be managed, as the most honest information available about what a connection actually is. I want to speak to something about the Virgo relationship to these moments specifically, because the way you process unexpected reminders of what was real is distinct and it deserves its own description. You do not dismiss them. This is the specific, important quality that distinguishes how you engage with these moments from how many people engage with them. Many people, when an unexpected thing arrives and produces the quality of recognition I have been describing, immediately begin the process of management, of explaining it away, of attributing it to nostalgia or loneliness or the general human tendency to sentimentalize the past, of organizing it into something smaller so that it does not require engagement. You tend not to do that, not because you are uncritical of your own interior responses, because you have enough respect for your own intelligence to know the difference between sentimentalizing and recognizing, between the warmth of a generalized nostalgia and the specific, pointed quality of something that is accurate. You know when something is accurate, and you give accuracy its due even when the accuracy is inconvenient. That refusal to dismiss what is real is one of your most defining qualities. It is also, at times, one of the more demanding ones. Tell me in the comments if you have experienced what I am describing, the specific, unexpected arrival of something ordinary that produced the quality of recognition I have been describing. Whether it arrived recently or has been arriving in various forms over a period of time, whether this reading is finding the right territory. I want to speak to what these moments ask of you, because they do ask something. They are not simply experiences to be had and filed. They tend to arrive with a question attached. The question is what you do with the recognition, not in the dramatic sense of a decision that must be made immediately, the quieter, more honest sense of what the recognition means for how you understand your own situation, for how honest you are with yourself about what you want and what you value and what the current arrangement costs you. These moments of unexpected reminder tend to clarify something that the daily management of the arrangement tends to obscure. The management takes energy. The energy of maintaining the specific quality of distance or neutrality or acceptance that the current situation requires, of holding yourself in a position that may not be your natural position, of continuing to organize yourself around an arrangement that may not fully correspond to what you actually know to be true about the connection. The unexpected moment briefly suspends the management. And in that suspension, the actual state of things becomes briefly visible. What you do with that visibility, whether you return to the management or whether you allow what was briefly visible to inform something about how you navigate from here, is entirely yours to determine. But the visibility itself is real and it is information. But the visibility itself is real and it is information. I want to describe what that visibility actually looks like in the moment of having it, because I think naming the interior experience precisely is more useful than describing it in general terms. It looks like a brief suspension of the story you have been telling yourself about the situation. Whatever the story is, the version that allows you to navigate your daily life without the full weight of what you actually know being present at full volume at all times. The specific functional, I need to be able to get through my day version of the situation, that version has its value. It serves a genuine purpose in the ordinary management of living. But in the moment of the unexpected reminder, that story becomes briefly unavailable. And what replaces it, for just a moment, is simply what is true, not filtered, not organized for livability, just what you know when you are not organizing it for livability. That moment of unfiltered knowing is brief. The story reasserts itself quickly, but the brief moment is enough to show you something. And something, once seen in that quality of clarity, is not easily unseen. It simply becomes part of the full picture you carry. Let me speak to something about the nature of connections that produce these moments consistently. They do not produce them randomly. The connections that keep arriving in these unexpected flashes of recognition are not doing so because of sentimentality or unresolved attachment in the ordinary sense. They are doing so because of something more specific. Because the connection has a quality that is genuinely distinct, that occupies a particular place in the landscape of what is real for you. That has produced something in you that continues to be relevant regardless of the current arrangement. Connections that have actually run their course do not tend to produce this. They produce a different quality when encountered unexpectedly, a warmth, perhaps, a nostalgia, but not the specific, pointed, this is still real quality of recognition that I am describing, not the sense of something present rather than something past. The difference between those two qualities is itself information about the nature of the connection, about what it is and what it continues to be, regardless of what the arrangement says about its current status. I want to speak to what bringing back together actually means, because the phrase suggests something, And the something deserves honest treatment. It does not always mean what the phrase implies on the surface. Sometimes it means a restored connection in the full external, both people in each other's lives sense. Sometimes it means something more interior, a return to honesty with yourself about what you want, a return to the full picture rather than the managed version, a return, simply, to what is real rather than what is arranged. Both of these are forms of coming back together. The interior one is the more fundamental because the exterior one, when it happens, tends to be the consequence of the interior one having already occurred. Of someone, you, or the other person, or both having returned to what is real before the external circumstances have caught up to that return. The unexpected moments are often the beginning of that interior return, not a decision, a recognition. And recognition, when it is honest, tends to produce its own momentum. As we close, I want to give you one image, an ordinary moment, nothing exceptional about it from the outside, the specific, unremarkable quality of a Tuesday afternoon or a Sunday morning or any of the countless ordinary moments that constitute a life being lived. Nothing that would register as significant to someone watching from outside it. And in the middle of it, something arrives, small, unplanned, entirely ordinary in its form, and producing in the moment of its arrival the specific quality of recognition I have been describing throughout this reading. The sense of something real, present, not in the past where the arrangement would prefer it to live, simply present in you, in the way that things which are genuinely significant tend to remain present regardless of what the surface of a situation suggests about their status. That presence, Virgo, is not a problem to be solved. It is not a weakness or a failure to have moved on properly. It is simply what genuine connections do. They remain real, even when the arrangement says otherwise, and the unexpected things that arrive and remind you of that they are not sabotaging your peace. They are offering you honesty. What you do with that honesty is yours to decide.